3. International EastMed Energy Forum. Conflicts and risks. Energy routes and infrastructure in the Eastern Mediterranean. Challenges and opportunities. Sahar Zaki Kabul. Regional conflicts in the Eastern Mediterranean. Cyprus. The island of Cyprus gained its independence from Britain in 1960. In 1974, Turkey intervened to protect the Turkish Cypriots in northern Cyprus. It was declared an independent state in 1983 under the name of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. The Republic of Cyprus owns 56% of the island, the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus 37%. About 3% of the island are British military bases. 4% of the area is a demilitarized zone under the supervision of the United Nations and is called the Green Line. Turkey opposed the exploitation of the discovered natural gas unless it was shared with the Turkish northern part of the island, declaring that the Cypriot government has no right to sign any agreement in light of the conflict between the two parts of the island. Palestine. The Palestinian Authority has the rights to explore and exploit its resources in an area of 20 nautical miles, of which the occupation left only about 2.5 nautical miles. Negotiations between British Gas and the Israeli occupation continued for 7 years from 2001 to 2007, and no agreement was reached, especially with the occupation's insistence on purchasing gas at lower international prices, which led to the cessation of exploitation of the field's wealth. The Israeli government agreed to develop the Gaza offshore field in 2013 after the discovery of the Tamar and Leviathan fields, as part of an American project proposed by John Kerry that includes providing $4 billion to revive the Palestinian economy. The project to develop the Gaza offshore field was also discussed, but the talks collapsed. Lebanon. The conflict between Lebanon and the Israeli occupation dates back to 1948, and Lebanon did not recognize Israel. The Palestinians used Lebanese territory to launch attacks on the occupation, and the occupation responded by launching attacks on Palestinian forces in Lebanese territory, which resulted in the occupation of a vast area of Lebanon. The Lebanese resistance became active and their position was strengthened during the civil war, and they took control of southern Lebanon. The occupation launched a war in 2006 on Lebanon in an attempt to uproot Hezbollah, which led to further deterioration. The Security Council intervened and ended the war and established a borderline between the two countries called the Blue Line, but both countries rejected this line and did not recognize it. There is no final agreement on demarcating the border between them. International actors in the Eastern Mediterranean. U.S. American interests in the Eastern Mediterranean region are mainly reflected in two issues. The economic interests of American energy companies. Reducing European dependence on Russian gas. European Union. One of the priorities for European energy security is the need to diversify sources of natural gas to reduce dependence on Russia, especially after the gas crisis between Russia and Ukraine in 2005, after Russia cut off gas supplies to Ukraine. The Eastern Mediterranean has become Europe's third gas corridor. Russia. Russian interests in the field of energy in the Eastern Mediterranean are represented in two things. The first is investments by Russian energy companies. The second is maintaining a Russian naval presence in the Mediterranean. Regional actors in the Eastern Mediterranean. Egypt. The core issues for Egyptian energy security in the Eastern Mediterranean are covering local gas consumption, transforming into a regional gas hub. Turkey. Turkish policy in the Eastern Mediterranean aims to taking advantage of the energy sources in its waters to reduce dependence on imported gas. Expanding Turkey's role as a transit country for gas supplies from the Eastern Mediterranean to Europe. Israel. The Israeli occupation policy aims to finding regional allies, securing energy infrastructure, different paths for exporting Eastern Mediterranean gas through pipes. 1. Egyptian pipelines. 2. Eastern Mediterranean gas pipeline. 3. Turkish pipeline projects. Liquefying the gas and shipping it by ship. 1. Gas liquefaction station project in Cyprus. 2. The floating station project in Israel. 1. Egyptian pipelines. Al Arish Ashkelon gas pipeline, Cyprus-Egypt gas pipeline. 2. The Eastern Mediterranean gas pipeline. In 2019, America issued the Eastern Mediterranean Security and Energy Partnership Act, which was approved by Congress, providing support for the EastMed pipeline. With the lifting of the arms embargo imposed on Cyprus since 1987. To facilitate the establishment of the pipeline, the European Union believes that Turkey's joining the Eastern Mediterranean Gas Forum is the ideal solution. 3 Turkish pipeline projects. Israel-Turkey Pipeline, Leviathan-Mersin Line, Leviathan-Ceyhan Line, Cyprus-Turkey Pipeline. All of them stopped as a result of the failure to solve the Cyprus and Palestinian problems. 1 Gas liquefaction station project in Cyprus. On June 26, 2013, Cyprus signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the American company Noble Energy, the Israeli Delek Drilling Company, and the Israeli company Enery as a step to discuss the establishment of a natural gas liquefaction plant in Vasilikos, southern Cyprus. 2 The floating station project in Israel. There is a tendency for Israel to abandon cooperation with Greece, Cyprus, Egypt, or Turkey in liquefying or exporting its gas, and to build its own liquefied gas station. Israel's implementation of the floating gas station project requires that it ship gas through the Suez Canal, and Israeli ships passing through it must be inspected under international navigation law and may constitute an obstacle to the project. Gas liquefaction projects in Cyprus and Israel pose a challenge to Egypt, as it competes with its gas liquefaction plants. Conclusion. The Eastern Mediterranean region is characterized by deep-rooted border conflicts between the countries of the region, the most prominent of which are the Cyprus conflict between the Turkish Cypriots and the Greek Cypriots, and the border conflict between Lebanon and the Israeli occupation, and also between Palestine and the Israeli occupation. Since maritime borders are directly linked to land borders, gas discoveries have added new dimensions to these conflicts, including problems in field ownership rights. In addition, 3 Eastern Mediterranean countries, namely Turkey, the Israeli occupation, and Syria, have not signed the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and therefore concepts such as the exclusive economic zone and the territorial sea are not recognized in these countries. The gas wealth in the Eastern Mediterranean has constituted an element of attraction for international and regional powers that wish to exploit these resources to achieve their interests. American and European funds flowed in with the aim of securing a share of investments in the region. The most prominent European Union countries active in the Eastern Mediterranean are France and Italy, because they are 2 countries overlooking the Mediterranean Sea and geographically closest to the region from the European Union countries. Each of them seeks to make the European Union the primary importer of Eastern Mediterranean gas as part of its efforts to reduce dependence on Russian gas and diversify energy sources. Gas discoveries in the Eastern Mediterranean led to the emergence of new regional alliances and counter-alliances as well. Turkey is the main supporter of the Libyan government of national accord, and the 2 sides signed 2 memoranda. A military one allowing Turkey to use Libyan air and water space without the need to notify the Libyan authorities, and the second a memorandum to designate the maritime borders between Turkey and Libya. There are 2 ways to export Eastern Mediterranean gas to foreign markets, which are chosen by the parties concerned. The first method is to establish pipelines on the seabed from producers in the Eastern Mediterranean to Europe. Here there are 3 competing projects. Egyptian pipelines, that is, those heading from gas producers to Egypt with the aim of liquefying gas in Egyptian factories and shipping it to markets, and the EastMed pipeline project, which is a gas line linking the Israeli and Cypriot fields with Greece and Italy, bypassing Egypt and the liquefaction step, but this project faces many obstacles and has not been implemented. And Turkish pipeline projects, whether from Cyprus or from Israel to Turkey and then to Europe, none of which have been implemented yet. The second method is to liquefy the gas and ship it via ship to European or other markets. The option in this case is Egyptian factories, but both Cyprus and the Israeli occupation have ambitions and projects to establish their own factories. Recommendations. All the countries located in the Eastern Mediterranean are Arab and Islamic, and the presence of the Zionist occupation state in Palestine hinders development projects for the benefit of these countries because the supporters of the occupation seek to occupy this region through the control of American and European companies over the gas fields in the Eastern Mediterranean. The same applies to the Cyprus conflict. It will continue to exist as long as the United Nations occupies 4% of the area of the island of Cyprus. And therefore there will be no international solution at all, whether for Cyprus or Palestine. The solution to the Eastern Mediterranean problem will only be achieved through an Arab-Turkish alliance that guarantees that the Zionist enemy will not depart from the 1947 borders until all Arab lands are liberated. Replacing European and American companies with Turkish companies and companies from friendly countries that do not support the genocide of the Palestinian people. The military strength of this Arab-Turkish alliance in the